He's flying! Yes! That is history!
Now in front, the crowd roaring, go, Monroe, go! But the 3-year-old in front, Milzo, long way, he's coming, he's going to get there! Yes, Monroe won it! Proud by my Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast / US Open Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Going very well. And also joined by Keno, our golf guru of our community. How are you, Keno?
Going well, thank you, Worm. Yep, another exciting week. US Open beginning this time tonight, a few hours' time. So I look forward to taking you through a few of the players in the course and a bit more detail. It'll be good. Looking forward to it. Major of the year.
Us three will take the early prices and be leading round one, and everyone will have to take the shorts after halfway through round two. It'll be good. Last week, pretty good, Matty, from us. Got to enjoy the wins.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I would have been preferring that we had a new intro this week with Hawaii 5-0, but it was a very good Stradbroke, and think about it, just too good. I think we're seeing a very good horse in the making that we're going to see a fair bit more of.
Yeah, definitely. It hurts as I took it on, and I got my pants pulled down, but no, it was a good week for the podcast. I think we struck pretty well. Pineapple won, so we go again.
Yep, Antino, not Opal Ridge, Antino.
Yes, I thought it was Opal Ridge 30 minutes ago, but that was good. Nice horse, Antino. Definitely one to follow if it comes for the spring because, I think it's a nice horse.
Yeah, as we mentioned last week, it's proven it can win from anywhere and very progressive type. I think it's moved through the grades very well through the Brisbane Carnival and looking forward to see where it ends up.
Yeah. Keno, would you back Without a Fight in a Caulfield Cup or Cox Plate?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
That's a bit too early on at the moment to be making calls like that, Worm. Haven't got a real firm opinion as yet of who will be probably waiting for a few more of the spring contenders to come back and see what international flavour is coming and make a call a bit closer on. But I think you're pretty keen on Cascadian from what you've been saying. But
if James Cummings listening and watching, mate, please put it towards the Cox Plate. It'd be nice to see the horse actually show its true colours and not be hidden behind Animo. But anyway, I just think Without a Fight might be a contender for a Caulfield Cup. If it becomes a weak race, I loved its win, and it might be the meeting to follow. We think about it, Antino and Without a Fight coming out of it. I think it might be a good meeting to look at. US Open, Ken, we'll get onto it. Run us through it. Before you do, though, obviously we know about the Live Golf and PGA Tour merger, potential merger. Talk us through it. It's, come quick.
Yeah, caught everyone by surprise probably a week and a half ago now. They've made the decision that they're going to come together. Still a lot to play out, a lot of unknowns there with how it will proceed in 2024 and beyond. But, as I said, caught everyone by surprise. When we caught up last, I said that, it's just all we ask for is in the golfing public is for the best players to come together at least 4 times a year. And, we're going to see that. Looks like going forward, it could even be a minimum, might see 10 times a year. But Liv's continuing to gain some traction. US Tour sort of ratings and so forth have been a little bit down. Sponsors have been leaving tournaments. So best that they bring all the best players back together where they can. I know some of the leading players are probably only going to play 20 times a year. If they're playing 14, 15 times on Live, they're playing 4 majors. How that all plays out, whether it's team aspect or it's individual. But there's still a lot of answers to come, Worm and Matty. But for the good of the game, mate, we're going to bring all the best players together at least 4 times a year.
Do you reckon it happens, or do you reckon it falls away again?
Oh, the Saudis have got a lot of money, mate. I think they're trying to overtake a lot of sports, soccer, all basketballs, all different sports around the world that they're using their money to buy into, and they're bought into golf now. And I think they're here to stay. So they'll have a lot of say on the boards and the direction of moving forward in tournaments and so forth. So, hopefully they have the board level from the US and Europe and maybe some Australia, and we get the biggest thing from Australians and if the Aussies listening in here is you want to just still see some of these great players in Australia, and hopefully we can still have an event a year, whether it's PGA or it's Live or some sort of representation, just see the best golfers because we deserve it, but some of the best courses in the world and some of the best players in the world.
Yeah, 100%. Well said. One thing I did take, and I don't quote me on it, but I did hear the commissioner come out and said, I think they've got 10 million in their trust fund and Live Golf have 200 billion. So there's no point fighting them for we can't win.
I'm never going to win an illegal battle, mate. They would have just kept taking them until they were left with no money. So it's worked out in their favour. So, lots more to play out. Just great that we're at the US Open and we can bring all these, as I said, the best players in the world together and watch them go toe to toe.
Yeah, 100%. How would you feel if you're Rory McIlroy not taking the money and they're coming back across with the money?
Yeah, there'd be plenty of them that would be headless worm. If it's hundreds of millions of dollars, there's Thomas, there's Spieth, there's Rory, there's Matsuyama, there's the list goes on. They would have tried to get every single best player there was. So, they were taken down the wrong road by the commissioner, and now the Live players are getting exactly what they wanted. So, as I said, they're saying that the Live players are going to have to pay enormous fines in the millions and millions to get back onto the tour. So, again, that's another question unanswered, and the commissioner's just gone into hospital. So, the answers will be still a few weeks and months away. So, lots more to come there. But I'll probably have a bit more of an update when we do the Open Championship preview in a few weeks. Yeah,
beautiful. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Hopefully the Saudis haven't got the commissioner. They haven't got to him, but you never know. But it'd be interesting to see how it pans out. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room when they're all putting their spikes on and what banter would go on. It'd be very good watching, I reckon, and listening, especially when Rory walks in and Yeah. But good on him. He's a PGA boy and he's just lost out on 100 million. Well done, son. And he's a milk drinker. Los Angeles Country Golf Club, Ken, talk us through it.
Yeah, as you said, LA Country Club, one of the most exclusive golf clubs in America. Very, very hard golf course to get onto. There's never been any tournament play at this golf course. There's no history there to go back on and know how hard the course is going to play. From everything I've seen and read this week and watched, it is a super, super long course. I've actually had two of my work colleagues who have been lucky enough to go over there and play through people they know, and they said it is the longest golf course you'll ever see. And that wasn't even off the back pegs that they're going to be playing this week. So it's a firm and fast course. It's got a lot of links to probably a sandbelt type golf course here in Australia. Wide open fairways, which is unlike a US Open, but there is super thick rough around the greens. If you do spray your drives or your irons, they're super long rough to come out of. You're going to need someone who's really long off the tee, someone who keeps it in play. And then again, someone who has a dynamite short game. We always say this at all the majors, you need to have all those facets, but you're going to have to be long off the tee and you're going to have to be hitting it well, hitting lots of greens in regulation, keeping the ball out of the rough.
Nice. Hole 6. Do you know much about it?
There is a stretch there. I think it's 6, 7, and 8 where they're saying you're going to be hitting like a 5-wood on every hole, and that hole 6 is a 300-meter risk reward par 4. So you can go. It's a blind tee shot, dog leg. You got a tree in front of you. You can go for the green. If you miss it, you're in the long rough and the big deep bunkers, and you might not even be able to find your ball. Or you can just play an iron or a 5-wood sort of down the fairway and then have a wedge in, which I think would be the right way to go about it. But on Saturday or Sunday, and you've got to make ground, there could be people going for the green depending on the pins. So I think the hole after that, there's a 270-meter par 3. Again, so they're going to be hitting 3-woods and 5-woods. We'd be hitting drivers that wouldn't even make the green. So set up brutally long. Next hole's a super long par 5. So hard and fast. Going to need to be on your game. There's 5 players I want to talk through as leading chances that I think all have a great shot at taking out the US Open. Starting at 5, Tony Finau. He's at $41. He's one of your favourites, Worm, year after year, major after major. This is the first time I've actually come to Tony as a chance in a major. He's been talking about, going to hit a lot of greens. You've got greens in regulation, adjusted scoring, tee to green percentages. Tony Finau is one of those guys that has leading a lot of those categories. He hits a really long ball. As I was saying, you need it to be long off the tee. So at $41, I think he can hit a lot of greens. He can keep himself in contention. This will be a golf course, I'm thinking, with how long it is. It's even par is probably going to be a score that's going to win it. So I think Tony can be someone that'll be in striking distance in the top 5, top 10 for sure. The fourth player I was going to mention, Johnny Rahm. He won the US Masters. Matty sensationally tipped him on this show. He, again, super long, great short game, so good off the tee, really good with his iron play, doing really well in all those tee to green categories that we're after at $11. So he's going to be thereabouts. Any of these players that I'm mentioning, to anyone listening to the podcast, even if it's after round 1, round 2, round 3, if they're 3, 4, 5 shots off the lead, on this sort of course, they're all capable of still winning. So you might even find they might even drift in odds if they're 4 or 5 back after 2 rounds. So all 5 of these, I think, are legitimate chances, even within striking distance. The third player I wanted to mention, Patrick Cantlay, local guy, has had a great season. He's leading the all-round tour in all the stats this year. He's had a great run recently. He's in form. He putts it really well. He hits it so straight. He's a US Open sort of specialist guy. Obviously US born. He's got a great record in California. So I think he's a great chance at $19. The second last person, my second tip is Brooks Koepka. Had a phenomenal year, both on live and won the US PGA Championship. He's born for majors. He's already won 2 US Opens. As I said, he recently won the US PGA at $11. He's at $12. And again, he just hits it so straight, made for majors, puts the dots off it, great short game. Definitely watch out for Brooks. He's very smart. He works his way around the course. He loves these tough conditions. He doesn't get worried by a poor shot here and there. He'll be there in the thick of things. And then I think for me, the clear bet for me is Scotty Scheffler. He's $7.50. I think the bookies have sort of got it right this major. Scotty Scheffler is having a Tiger Woods-like season. Tiger Woods has been a generational golfer, and the numbers he's producing this year are right up there with Tiger. He's leading tee to green. He's leading greens in regulation. He's winning adjusted scoring. He's that far ahead of the field that no one's seen these numbers since Tiger Woods' days. The only thing is letting him down is his putting. He has not been putting well at all. He's been worst in the field putting the last 3 weeks. If he puts even half reasonable and his half finishes 50% of the field in putting, he'll win this tournament. And if he has a good week on the greens, he'll streak the field. So it's going to come down to his putting, but he's a sort of guy, he's hitting it so well. He'll give himself so many looks. He's not going to miss a whole heap of greens. So Scotty Scheffler, last 15 starts, he's been inside the top 12. Last 4 starts, he's been inside the top 5. He was runner-up last year. He's a couple of time major winner. So at $7.50, I think he's clearly the one to beat. And but yeah, any of those 5, you can have a bet with confidence. And as I said, if they're in striking distance after first, second, third rounds, you can go again.
Beautiful. Matty, thoughts, questions?
Yeah, question. You mentioned that we haven't seen too much competition golf here. What type of scores are we expecting?
At LA, yeah, it's really hard hearing a couple of the players. Rory was saying yesterday it could be anywhere from 4 over to 4 under that could win something like this. Quite a few of the players, Koepka and Rory, and said that there will be a gap in this field. Like they will streak. There will be a long tail. So you might find there might be 10 to 15 shots between 5 and 6 players. So there could be someone who wins this by 4 or 5, and they might be just 2 under. So it's going to be really tough. It looks like the weather's going to be firm and fast, really sunny. It's going to dry out. The USGA can really trick up the greens. So, depending on how they pin placements, I've heard some players on par 3s might not even go for the green. They might lay up, depending on where a pin is. They might lay up short of the bunkers on a par 3. It's 130 metres. depending if they put the pin where they're saying they're going to. So, but yeah, I would say, Matty, the US Open anywhere from even par to 200 would probably be my prediction.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, quite difficult, but saying hasn't been too much competition golf there before. But the LA Times have actually put a drone coverage of every hole, so it's actually worth going and taking a look. It's magnificent, especially that sixth hole that you mentioned, Worm. Reminding me a little bit of the Ivanhoe public course, hole number 3. They've just got a big gum tree on the corner. It's always one that I find a lot of similarities.
I've never thought I'd hear someone compare Ivanhoe to Los Angeles Country Club, but yep, good. Who are you backing? Who are you backing?
Patrick Cantlay. So one that Keno did mention. Been playing some really good golf. Local boy, had plenty of exposure to this course. So I'm expecting his straightness to definitely play through. They're saying that the fairways here are wider than normal PGA courses, but one thing that people who have played here previously has mentioned is it is quite deceivingly skinny. So even though the meterage is wider, it doesn't necessarily play that way. So I think Cantlay and his straight, precise play will definitely lead him in good stead. Worm, how about you?
Mate, I'm going to have a 2-bet play here. I'm agreeing with Keno. I think Scheffler at 750 now. I'm not normally a favourite backer for the golf, but geez, he's been so consistent in the PGA Tour in the last 3 or 4, finishing top 5. It was good insight by Keno with the putting because I didn't know that, but he's a big time player, big boy. $7. I'm happy to have a good bet on him. The other one no one's mentioned is Cam Smith. I know he can be around the mark. He's always around the mark. $26. I think that's massive overs. I thought he'd be 16s at least. He has the best record on Live Golf Tour, averaging 10.71 finishing position. That's the best out of anyone out of that league. So for anyone that's doing that, I think he can be competitive at 26s. And the other one that, like, Kenna, you were just talking about hole 6, 7, 8. It could be either, from what I've taken what you've said, you could be either 5 under after those 3, or you could be 10 over if you don't get it right. And when you say that, Bryson DeChambeau could be the one that you might have to have a speckle on, because he could either be 5 under or he could be 15 over. He's getting 100 million. He might not give 2 shits and just go, I'm getting the big boy out and I'm having cracks. And if he has a crack, he might just pull, be really good at it. And he was good in the last major from memory.
He was a contender, top 5. He's won the US Open before, Worm. He's won the longest on tour, which he won at this course. So definitely, you just got to limit the double bogey. You can't be having double bogeys, triple bogeys. And if you can limit that, he's going to give himself enough looks at birdie with his length. So, no, absolutely. The other person I wanted to mention, guys, for the leading Aussie is a bit of value. I think Lucas Herbert, Victorian guy, is at $10. Probably the longest player out of all the Aussies and would be the best putter. Probably he'd be in top 5 on tour in putting. He is an incredible putter, good short game. He exudes a lot of confidence. So at $10, he could be a small play as well for the leading Aussie in a pretty thinnish field. But I think there's only about 6 or 7 of them in there at $10. He's someone who could easily finish a top 10 in the tournament.
Beautiful. I'm going to put that on while Matty previews the races. I don't mind that. Yeah, love it. Any final word, Matty?
No, mate. No, looking forward to it.
Yeah, same.
Absolute cracking course, as you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Keno. Loved it. To the races, we're going to preview races 2 and 5 from Flemington, Bets Around the Grounds, Multi, and Matty's Pineapple of the Week. Trial stats we'll go with. Rail out 11 metres, so no big issue for me there, but the biggest issue, 35 to 50 kilometre winds northerly, so that's a headwind around the home bend. So I'd be careful of leaders or horses out wide with no cover coming around that bend. In the straight races, we normally say middle to outside draws, but the rail's out 11 metres now, so we might have to change to middle to inside, as the track should play quite fairly, but down the straight, just keep an eye on it for the middle to inside. but it's definitely watch and act with that wind. They are some high winds, and yeah, jockeys could be sitting up and going some stupid pace up front in slowness and kick away on the bend. So definitely get your speed maps and your wind tracker on point. Trial trackers this week. Flemington, race 4, number 2, Poland. It's in the light red colours. If you're watching on YouTube, it's had 2 jump outs at Flemington. I really like this horse, most recent jump out. It found the front over the 800 metres in a time of 46.20. Did it under a nice hold. If they find the front with Blake Shin on board, this could be a horse it'd be hard to get past, especially if they sit up like they normally do in the straight races. And yeah, I just really like the way it's jumped out. I think it's come back better. I've always had a good opinion on this horse. I just think it's been in big grades and now it's back in grade a fair bit here. So yeah, race 4, number 2, Poland. All right, race 2, I'm going to preview here. It's the Rod Johnson handicap. Old Ronnie Johnson, congrats, mate. 2-year-olds over the 14, 20 metres. The odds here, top odds we always go with. So we'll go step parties around the 210 mark. Blazing Harry, 650. Bolted in, 750. Sand Jewel, $13. African Pioneer, $14. Dolphin Skin, $15. Kappa 39. I wonder if Big Wazza will be on track taking hangers in the members bar at 20 to 1, and you can have 23 the rest. Speed bat for me, very, very interesting here. I think Sandjul will kick up from 2. Manalore from 8 will come across and lead. I don't think they go any silly tempo. A lot of these are 1400 first time. I think they're going to take a real slow speed to make sure they all get the distance. So I can't see them running along any records up front. You know who, barrier 3, I think steps nicely and camps behind the leaders with Step Party. Kappa 39, I think it's got to make a decision here. It could be 3 wide, no cover, but I reckon they'll go back here and just try and get the distance. Yeah, it's an interesting one because if he doesn't roll forward, you got your likes of Spirit of Zero or Blazing Harry, could be 3 wide, no cover. It's all up to Kappa 39, unfortunately, to see where he goes. And bolted in from 1, he kicks up. And yeah, there's going to be a few horses out the back. So yeah, tempo, I think very, very average. In saying that, I'm keen to be with Step Party here, 2 from 2. Nice debut at Ballarat. And then last start, 1 by 3.5 lengths. This horse only pricked his ears the last 20 metres, and I don't mind seeing that out of horses when they prick their ears. So I don't think he switched on at all during that race. I think the horse has got some serious talent, and there's been some really good offers to the ownership to purchase this, but they're refused. And I love hearing that because they must think it's a good, good horse. For this horse to do it as a 2-year-old under this trainer hardly has 2-year-olds up and running. So it again tells me he must have a good opinion of the horse. He normally peaks all his horses third up. It's third up now. I think at $2, I suggest you take it now. I think it starts at $1.60 because a good barrier, finds cover, ticks every box. And looking at the field, I don't know if it's any much better than last start. Yes, it's 1,200 up to 14, but just watch this horse last 100 metres. I think it's a very, very good horse. The horse that finished second to Sapati, I think, is Overs, Dolphin Skin. This horse was on the back of Stepati down the straight. He just couldn't sprint with him. Then when the horse actually started getting into its work, he wanted to lay in on the horses and be on one rein. So you can't be going any good doing that. So if the blinkers were on for its first start, which again was a bit weird. So if they get that right and it goes straight, it can finish a lot closer than what it did. Last 50 metres was what I liked about the horse. Maybe the straight racing didn't suit the horse. First start as well. So second up, it's going to improve. $17, great value, and I expect it to start a lot shorter. The other runners here, Blazing Harry, African Pioneer, Military Award, all coming out of a high rating race out of Geelong. I think that race has been overrated considering Stepati went close to 5 lengths quicker over the 1,200 metres when comparing times. So how do these 3 try and beat Stepati? I know I'm talking a bit of confidence here, but 5 lengths over the 1,200 meter times. I know it's 1,400, but yeah, that's a big difference, 5 lengths. But the one thing I did notice is Kappa 39 beat Military Award at Bendigo by 4 lengths. So Military Award comes out of that Geelong race where African Pioneer and Blazing Harry come out of, which I've said is they reckon it was high rating. I don't think it was. Beaten it by 4 lengths. So there's some form lines you can really tie in. Maybe if Kappa 39 drew a barrier, it might be the only danger, but barrier 11, I don't know. But Keen's the party. Matty, thoughts?
I like that, Worm, especially that Geelong reference, which is something I'd look at within this race. And you definitely had Blazing Harry. Got the run of the race, cut the corner, and got the split when it needed to. So I think if you like anything else within that race, I don't necessarily think Blazing Harry is the one to follow out of that, considering a few of these others are definitely paying a lot more. You've got African Pioneer Military Award paying 15s and 30s. So definitely a little bit of value if you're following that form line. As you said, I didn't believe it rated as well as what some other people did say. One I wanted to get your thoughts on was the Chris Waller horse with Zach Spain on board. You know who. Now, last start it was down, I think, at Mornington in a 3-horse race. D. Oliver on board. They came for it, Worm. They came for it. How did you assess this horse?
Mate, yeah, I wouldn't worry about last start. I know the SP you can, $1.60, but 3-horse field. Blinkers go on, tick. It's going to be on the minimum, tick, which is good this time of year. I think you got to go back to the Kensington run. It was good. It's had that 1,400 meter run, tick. Did SP $41, but do you take 2-year-olds and SPs? I don't think you really can because it's a lot of first starters. They're trying to work out markets. No one knows the ability of most horses. So wouldn't talk you out of backing it. Chris Waller third up, deadly. Good barrier. I think it finds a spot. $27. It might be the one that beats us.
No, just stuck out at some value, but I can definitely see how you've landed on the number 1 Zapate. Looks like a quality horse.
Beautiful as Port Adelaide hit the front. Keno, thoughts?
No, I think you guys have nailed it, Worm, with Stapati. With the quality of field it's up against, it looks a put-in, take-out type job for mine, mate. Really impressive. Last start at the track, been well found in its first start, well found in its second start. Really impressive for mine last start, and I think it'll make it 3 on the trot and looks to have a bit of a bright future, that one.
Good. I thought you were going to use the M word. I was almost going to beep you out and kick you out of this Zoom call, but good. I like your confidence. Guys, if you want to subscribe to our channel, YouTube, or any podcast platform, please do so. If you are a Spotify listener, please rate us. It helps us out a lot to reach more listeners, and yeah, it just shows your love for our podcast. We are, as I always say, it's free. What we do, no paywalls. You don't have to pay for this podcast. Everything we do is free because we love of it. Shout out to George Moore, hopefully not the American boxer, but he got in touch on YouTube. He gave his thoughts on Extra 2, I think it was on race 2, where it pissed in. Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts, mate. It's what we love about the industry. There's so many opinions and so many ways you can do form, and we're not always going to agree, but no, really appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Thank you. And if you want to be part of our WhatsApp community, please get involved. Either DM one of us. I'll put my email down below. So get in touch with one of us because Saturday was quite fat, if I have to blow my own trumpet.
Plenty of good banter on there with all the crew that are on there. So highly encourage you to get on board that group.
Yeah, definitely. When spring around the corner, it's going to get quite ugly.
Winners always help, and you were 4 from 4 over the weekend, Worm, so that definitely needs a call out.
Yep, it's yeah. I think we backed the last one to place, and it pissed in. That might have just dampened my mood at the end of the day, but it was good to get it right.
I reckon your last 3 or 4 times you've had a place bet, Worm. I reckon 3 of those 4 times it's saluted as a winner too. So you're in form of those Larry Longshots of place, and they salute as a winner. So
yep,
hats off to you.
Yeah, no, it's it's even better feeling when you take it to place and it wins. It's yeah, It makes you sick, but it's a collect. Win's a win. You got to take them because it can turn quite ugly quite quickly, and we all know how that can go. Race 5, Matty, you want to preview the Bruce Gadsden benchmark 90?
Yeah, call that to Bruce. No, Worm. Just before we get the odds here, just a quick look at the speed map. Benchmark 90 over 1420, the rail out 11 metres. I can't see too much pace on. Now, we are saying this is benchmark 90, but more like a benchmark 78, really, from what I can see. I think Shandon Burge, that probably pushes forward and Party for One. From the wide gate, I expect Blake Shin to be pushing forward, maybe not finding the lead, but a lot of these will be falling out of the gate. So it may very much be dependent on their barrier. So we've got the odds there for us.
Yeah, I do, mate. Favourite here is $3. Party for One. Cardigan Queen, $6. Dazzling Lucy, $7. Sione, $8. Typhoon Titmus, $11. She's Pretty Rich, $11. Kind Gesture, $11. And you can have $16 the rest.
Perfect. Thank you, Worm. The three I'm going to be talking about, Worm, are the three in the markets. Dazzling Lucy, look, really consistent, but very consistent at running top 5 or 6. And for that reason, I can't be tipping this horse on top. I do expect it to be running top 5 from a nice gate. I think it'll get a really good run, good sit, and be peeling out at the right time. But Dazzling Lucy just doesn't get done often enough for me. Cardigan Queen, wow, this horse doesn't it like to get back. Flashing home, and that's exactly what it did last start when it got the chocolates. However, I've also seen this horse plenty of times flashing home for a second or third. Last autumn against Barb Raider, Fortunate Kiss. Will it happen again within this race? Is it going to get a little bit further back? No knocks on the horse, but I would prefer to be on a horse that is going to be taking a sit. And that's exactly where I see Party for One. Blake Shin on board. Wide gate. Which isn't ideal, but I think Blake will push forward, take a sit, and from there, we'll get the run of the race. As I said at the start, Worm, there's not too much pace on this race, so I don't think Blake will actually need to do a whole lot of work from barrier number 13. And this horse is building a really solid profile moving through the grades. Now, although it is up in class, from what I can see, it's not really racing against much more than what it has in its previous starts where it has got it done. So, Worm, I think Party for One is going to be exceptionally hard to beat, and I've got it on top. As I said, I think Cardigan Queen will be flashing home. Don't be surprised if it does come over the top, but as I mentioned, I prefer to be on something taking a sit closer to the lead rather than Cardigan Queen that's going to be riding for a little bit of luck and will be flashing home late. Worm, how did you see this one?
Yeah, mate, you nailed it on the head. This is a benchmark 78, not a 90. So punters, be aware when doing the form because, you can be really misled this time of year with that sort of action. Party for One, mate. Do you reckon it rolls forward or goes back?
I think it needs to go forward from there. And the main reason is there's not much pace out of the gates.
Yes.
So I think you'll find a lot of these falling out of the gate. I don't think Blake's going to have to do a whole lot of work from there to find a decent sit.
Yeah, mate. Well said. He gave it an absolute peach. 11 out of 10 ride last start when he had an outside draw and found a slot to get in, and that's what won him the race. If he does that, I don't know how they beat it, but it's just that win factor. I know I'm probably overthinking it, but if he can get cover, he wins again. Good and proper. I just think that's way over the odds considering it's SP $3.80 last start in a race that you couldn't make ground. And now they're asking you to take $16 in pretty much the same class. So I just think that's a bit of a wrong price. And I know they're going to go back, but if they decide to roll forward, geez, it's way over the odds. C&E, mate, I'm a bit flabbergasted at the price. I thought it'd start a lot shorter. I know barrier 1 is the biggest issue here, the inside could be off, or it just doesn't find any room to get out. But this horse, third up, 1 second up. Paddy Payne second up, not really an ideal thing, but he won third up. Last prep beat Flash Flood, won last week. And then he finished 1.3 off Pacific Ruby, who won last week as well. I just think $8 is a good price to get involved. Barrier 1, only concern. But yeah, I think we can make Party for One a big bet for people out there. And then you can play a few others at odds that I like. Keno, any thoughts?
Yeah, when I was doing the form for this race, I just thought there was a lot of like you guys have said it, there's a lot of non-chasers for mine. It's a low grading race. And for that reason, I sort of kept coming back to Cardigan Queen. A little concern with Maddie was saying that it's going to be a slower speed. Obviously, it gets back, but that was well back. They really liked it first up at Warrnambool at the May Carnival. Saluted second up with the good win that Maddie was mentioning. So it's going to be fitter. It's $6. I thought it was a good play. The concern I had, I was going to ask you, Maddie, Party for One. Obviously, he's won his last 2, but if you take them out, he was 1 from 18 going into that. And there's a lot of those horses that have got a high starts, low wins that probably don't like to go past horses. So Party for One's obviously picked up a bit of form recently. But is that any concern that he's a bit of a non-winner prior to those 2 wins?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if you go back through, though, it wasn't running badly. You're kind of looking at seconds, thirds, a couple of fourths in there. So it's not like it was really putting in horrendous runs. Since then, though, has gone across the Price Kent stable, and I think you've seen a lot of improvement since then.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
but looking at the full field, it looks to be, for mine, there's 2 chances. It's Cardigan Queen and then it's Party for One for mine. So
I tend to agree. Look, if Cardigan Queen gets a run, as we've seen on plenty of occasions, it will run the fastest last 200 of this race. It just depends on where it's going to be turning the corner.
Probably runs home for a nice second or third again, like it did last campaign. Yeah.
Oh, mate, at $6, you can be definitely playing both of those 2, Party for One and Cardigan Queen.
Yeah.
Like it. Well put, mate. Around the grounds, Keno, you got anything?
I didn't mind that Step Party I was talking about before, but I'm going to go with the horse that I like on Saturday, race 4, Psy. Really liked its win first up, terrific return, had fast splits in comparison to the other races on the day at a similar distance. He's going to be fitter. It's got Peter Moody. I know they've got a good opinion of it. It's well weighted with 54, I think it is, kilos. So he's short, but I think it's going to be hard to beat race 4, Psy, on Saturday at Flemington.
Yeah, well put, mate. On the minimum this time of year, you've got to give him an extra tick. And yeah, Carleen Heffel on board. Like it. Matty, your bets around the grounds?
Yeah, mate, going up to Sydney, race number 6, a horse what we've backed previously, Wave Rider Boy. Around about that $8 mark, first up. Now, this is a group horse. It's been running in Group 3 races, and it's not running against much here. Honestly, this is quite a weak field here, Worm, and I expect it to come back and run exceptionally well. So it only has a rating of 68, but that's mainly because it's been running in Group 3s. And running quite well, but I'll tell you what, in this field, I expect Wave Rider Boy to be running a very good race at $8, Worm.
Beautiful, mate. That's it.
Yeah, just the one around the grounds. I'll put something different in for the multi, and then we've got the pineapple.
Beautiful. Like it, mate. I'm going to have 2. I'm going to go Murray Bridge, race 4, number 3, Bristler. This horse has had 2 starts. Its first start was third in a benchmark 62, and then second start won its class 1. Very weird placing by the trainer, but it's handled itself really good, especially last start. Found the front, led, won by 2.5, ticks every box, probably does this again. I go back to its first start. It finished 0.9 behind Sharippa. Sharippa came down to Flemington and was only beaten 0.9 in a 3-year-old quality race. So I think that form stacks up beautifully. I know it's $2. I know it's in the shorts, but I think it's a good price to get involved. So that's Murray Bridge, race 4, number 3. And then I'm going to head over to Rose Hill, race 9, number 4, Space Tracker. Nice first up. run on a day where you had to be on the rail to win. Only went down by 0.26, and I think that was a very good effort coming out of a fast run race, and its 200 splits off that tempo were really, really good. Now, gets barrier 7. I hope they roll forward. Jet Stanley on board. He was on board last start, so I don't mind that. He knows the horse a bit better now, and I think he's a good jockey without getting many rides. So I'm going to support him here. I'm happy to be involved at around the 330. As I said, if it rolls forward, it should be hard to beat. Was purchased in Europe last year, and it was running in class 2s and 3s over there and winning them. So if it does that, I think it handles itself quite well. And a benchmark 78 at Rose Hill. That's race 9, number 4, Space Tracker. Multi, Keno, what are you throwing in?
Now, am I going outfield here with like football, or are we going races? Where am I going?
You do whatever you want. I've been banned from footy. Matty's banned me. So
Matty might ban me after I do this. I think the overs this week, and I think the way they're playing, I think they'll beat Carlton. I think Gold Coast Suns will beat Carlton at $2.15. Matty might bar me here, but I think that is overs. I think Suns should start favourites the way Carlton's been playing, and I'll go the Gold Coast Suns to win on Sunday at $2.15.
I don't understand how Carlton the favourite.
It's unbelievable.
How could they possibly be favourite? The only team that's been in the last 8 rounds is West Coast.
And the Suns have beaten them the last 2 games. One of them was in Melbourne. The last 2 times they've played. So for me, I just think it's overs, and Carlton's going to have to find another 3 or 4 gears to get to that level. So I'm with the Suns.
How close is the race that the players run off after the game at the G? Is it as close as what it is at Marvel?
Are you been going, Matty? You going again on Sunday, putting yourself through the pain?
Oh, I tell you what, the bandwagon is empty.
Yeah. It's been 20 plus years. It's been pain, but you got to stick fat, mate. Keep it going, mate. It will turn. It will come. But
yes, no, it will. It will. As bad as this sounds, they haven't been playing bad footy. It's been patches that they've been losing games in. They should have been up by 5 goals against Essendon at halftime.
They've got the disease that Melbourne's got, mate. They can't kick straight. Freaking hell, you get paid all this money to put it through the big sticks, and you just keep kicking 6 goals 15 and 7 goals 18. And
it's coach killers.
Yeah.
That's fine, boys. You can follow Port Adelaide, who are up by 30 points against Geelong. So jump on board if you want, boys. I think the lid might be coming off in about 24 minutes.
How's Narkle been?
Mate, he had 9 up to half time, and he's still on 9.
Okay.
That's why I've got one eye on him, and damn it, I'm disappointed. But I'll take this lead any day of the week.
Indeed. Went my around the grounds. We're going up to Ipswich for the Ipswich Cup. Desert Icon, I think, will be in the placings. I think it'll be tough to beat. It draws a really nice gate and should get a very good run. So Desert Icon, I'll be putting in the multi for a place worm.
Beautiful. And I'm going to chuck in Sapati the win. So that's Gold Coast to beat Carlton, Sapati to win at Flemington, and Desert Icon the place at Ipswich race 7. That comes to $8.37. If you use your right bookie, you can get a bet return if you are a blue brand person. All right, Matty, all important pineapple of the week. Everyone's got their pens and pencils ready. Where are we going?
Well, they can put their pens and pencils away because this horse has already been mentioned plenty of time tonight. We'll be going to race 2, and we're most very happy to hear that you were on Sapate because it was what I found as well. Now, it is that time of year where we're putting the pineapple on a 2-year-old. That does make me somewhat nervous, but it's the clear best horse within this race. As you went through and previewed it exceptionally well, I'm not a fan of the Geelong form going through this. Sapate moving up to the 1400, I don't see that as being an issue at all. I can't see anything coming out of the race that it raced in previously being an issue for it. So Sapate with Dean Endel on board, jumping from barrier number 5, will be the pineapple this week, Worm.
Beautiful. And Keno can vouch. We didn't share notes, and he got on and said, I hope you're back in Sapati in race 2. So, yeah, when we align, that's quite scary.
We're 3 from 3. We both like Cantlay, but Could be a big weekend for the podcast.
No, definitely, mate. Yeah, as I said, you could be banned after this. Matty might put a 48-hour ban on you for tipping against Carlton. But Keno, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on US Open. And, yeah, go well.
No worries, boys. Thanks for having us. Go Scotty Scheffler, and we'll see you for the Open Championship preview in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Very good, Keno.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. Matty, good luck. Go well. I will see you in 7 days.
Can't wait, mate. We'll review that multi.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you all for watching, listening. Please show your support by rating us or subscribing to our YouTube or any podcast platform. We'll be back next week for some more off-peak racing.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.